welcome back to Chin Music, our baseball show at TalkNorth.com. The lineup today, LaVelle E. Neal III, Star Tribune columnist and baseball guru. I'm Jim Souhan, also from Star Tribune and, of course, TalkNorth.com. This is our baseball show at TalkNorth.com. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. We're presented by OnX Hunt. We'll tell you about the OnX fishing app that's brand new here pretty soon. Thanks also to Minnesota Masonic Charities and True Vision Institute. Best way to listen to this show or any show you like at the network, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. It's free. It's the easiest way to listen. And check out all of our other shows. We have the best sports lineup in town. You'll find something you like, I guarantee it. Well, let's start. We haven't talked about ownership in a couple weeks. I don't think either of us has any feeling that anything's going to happen imminently. But what's going on with the new dude from Phoenix? And philosophically, should Minnesotans care whether the owner is a local buyer or not?
Well, if this was a Star Wars series, this episode would be called A New Hope. Because Matt Ishbia and his brother Justin have a combined net worth of $15 billion. Matt is the owner of the Phoenix Suns, and Justin is a minority owner. And they have been aggressive with how they have operated the Suns. They authorized acquisitions like Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. They have not worried much about where the money was because of regional programming issues. They actually put their team on free local television to foregoing income or television revenue for the benefit of getting as many eyes on their product as possible. So a lot of Twins fans see that as these guys definitely will spend more money than the Polak family will. Sold. It's going to take. This is going to take a while, and it has been perfect for them. I mean, they've amassed a fortune with a mortgage company, but earlier this year they were hit with a class action lawsuit claiming that the borrowers were paying inflated fees. And I don't know what the outcome of that has been. So everything is smooth with them, but it represents, to me, it's good that someone has actually shown interest, because in recent years, the Angels and the Nationals were put on the market for sale and got pulled off the market. And I guess it's because the ownership groups in those cities did not hear the right number they wanted to hear. So the fact that someone has emerged who's showing interest is a good sign. What Twins fans should be hoping for at this point, that there would be a second or a third group that is leaked or comes forward would express interest in buying the team as well. I think everybody benefits. You get to pick the owner that looks like who looks able to run the team the way it should be run, to spend the way it should be spent on, and to be a part of the community instead of just embracing the first person that comes along expressing interest here. So it's a process, man. I was told last week they hope by January or February that they have a better idea who wants to purchase the team. So, but it's always good to know that at least there's one group interested, and maybe that'll make other groups come forward and to make it more competitive.
My personal view of this whole situation was that while everybody seems to hate the Polads, I really thought what was going to happen is they're going to end up selling to another local owner who's going to come in and look at the books and say, okay, I love the owner and the Twins, but I'm not going to spend any more than the Polads did. I just think the financial realities of being a mid-market team getting outspent by the coastal elites is just what it is, and ownership wouldn't necessarily change that. New ownership wouldn't necessarily change that. This would be different. You get two aggressive people who are willing to spend that much money on the Suns and on Suns players and to make the Suns popular. This would be completely different. Now, there are, as we both know, there are dangers. Sometimes the people who are the most aggressive are also the hardest to work with, can be the most irrational. But it would be a different thing if you had Twins owners that were willing to try to outbid the competition.
And here's the thing, too. Their aggressive nature means they probably will want things done differently than what front office is telling them that should be done. Do you want your owners to be more meddling? You want the pocketbook to be fatter, but do you want them to be more meddling? That could be good and bad. So we don't know how they intend to do that. Justin Ishbia, though, I believe he played baseball in college. Yep. Big Michigan State guy, yep. And Vanderbilt guy. And they donated money for the baseball program at Michigan State. He is confirmed as a big fan of the sport. And that's a good thing as well. And you're right, Jim. You brought up the other point, too. Whoever opens the books and sees what type of revenue the Twins are generating, it may cause a little bit of a pause there. I was talking to one of my people who knows way more about money than I do, and he was like, well, the stadium's modern and there's a long lease. The issue is the television deal.
Mm-hmm.
And the way baseball's headed, 2028 is like more than 3 years away. And that may be the year where things start to change with television revenue, because that's when the league will be able to package 2/3 of the team's television rights, bundle them, and sell them the rights, streaming and otherwise, to the highest bidder. And it's 3 years long enough to wait for financial parity in baseball, because it sounds like the owners are going to start sharing more local television revenue as well right about that time. So do they wait until 2027? It'll be more optimal. Or do you want to take advantage of it now, get in at the beginning, and be part of the change? So there's a lot of tentacles to this, and I don't expect the new owner to be named until mid to late of the next baseball season.
Wow. And is that gonna paralyze the Twins in terms of trying to operate this winter, or do you think they just go heavy on the trade market, which is probably the route they're going to take, even if the Pohlads had kept the team?
God, you would think that to make the team attractive, that you may want to invest in it, but the Pohlads may go the other route. I mean, right now they've announced that they want to get the payroll down to about $130 million. That's not going to make it more attractive to a buyer. I don't know how, I'm not a multimillionaire, Jim, so I'm not sure how this stuff works. But could you add a couple more $100 million to the sell price if the team looks like it's a threat to make a run in the postseason? I don't know. I got a friend telling me that, the sell price could go toward $2 billion, just because at this point, what's another couple $100 million? I was like, I think people are a little more guarded with their cash spending than that. But I'm starting to think the Twins could get 1.5 for the team. Yeah. I think they probably try to shoot for 1.7, 1.8, but if they can get 1.5, I think they can't be upset about that.
Wow. I really thought it would come in closer to $1 billion, like 1.2, 1.3. But I mean, that's what I think they're probably worth. But the reality is these franchises just don't come available very often, and they've proven to be incredible investments. So the Pohlads probably can ask for a lot, and eventually somebody's probably going to pay their price.
Right. And sports franchise values have shot up here in the last few years. Remember, our boss, Glenn Taylor, would try to layaway plan with Matt Laurie and A-Rod when the team was valued, at $1 billion, $1.1 billion. It's shot up to now, 2.5 or something like that. So in a couple of years, the Twins could be worth even more. And maybe that's the incentive for them to sell now to someone who wants to taking advantage of that. And plus, only one of the grandkids wants to run baseball, and that's Joe. None of the other grandkids really care. So I think that's coming into play here.
Somebody was telling me recently that the new insider valuation on the Philadelphia Eagles is they're worth more than $8 billion. And that would mean that the Vikings, with their great stadium and everything going right for them, would probably come in at about $7 billion.
Well, where would that put Jerry Jones and the Cowboys at then? 10?
I mean, you're right. That's the thing, is that this is somebody talking about how valuable the Eagles are, and the Cowboys might be more valuable because they're such a good money-making machine. I don't know. It's all stunning to me. And it's almost, well, let's transition to our next topic right there. It's almost sad. It's like, I understand the angst of the Twins fan. You want to see a World Series. You want to see your team win a lot. The owners aren't spending money. You're falling short most year of the playoffs or winning a playoff series most years. I also feel like, and this will be the topic we'll get to next, is there a way for the average Twins fan to have more fun watching baseball and watching the Twins? I want to ask you that question. Just, what's going to be the right mindset if you actually want to enjoy the game in 2025? First, though, I want to let you know that we are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studios. We're presented by Onyx Hunt. And you got to check out their fishing app. Ice fishing is here, and it's time to hit the frozen water with Onyx Fish. The Fish app is the most comprehensive fishing tool for increasing your confidence on ice. Use Onyx Fish to find new places to fish and sort lakes by species, abundance, trophy, and keeper potentials. Onyx Fish also shows you hot spots, lake-by-lake regulations, and private and public land ownership information. For a limited time, download Onyx Fish for free in Minnesota and Wisconsin, or go to onyxmaps.com/fish to get more information on the app that is changing the game on ice. Also want to thank Aquarius Home Services.
Scott for Aquarius Home Services. The holiday season is here. Time for family gatherings and enjoying a cozy, comfy home with loved ones. But is your furnace ready for the colder temps? Don't let a faulty furnace spoil your celebrations. At Aquarius, we've got your back. For just $29, our Furnace Peak Performance Check provides that seasonal health check every system needs this time of year. Schedule today at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Thanks also to a great Minnesota company, Minnesota Masonic Charities.
When people think of the Freemasons, they often think of secret handshakes and unusual hats, and of course, the pancake breakfast. Minnesota Masonic Charities would prefer that you think about the work that they do right here in our community. Places like the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota or the Masonic Children's Hospital and the Masonic Home in Bloomington. They are just a few examples of the important work that the Freemasons support here in Minnesota. As part of the largest fraternal organization in the world, Masons have consistently answered the call when it comes to charitable needs. We look forward to learning so much more about their many programs here in the weeks to come.
Here's John Krasinski of TalkNorth.com. He's on the John Krasinski Show, of course, and also on the Viking Update Show. Here's John on his experience with True Vision Institute.
Yeah, True Vision in Bloomington. I was talking to someone at the Timberwolves game against the Hornets, and they were asking me about it. And they had also had LASIK surgery as well. And it was, the term that we both have used, and I've used it on the show, is life changing. It really is. And you're going to roll your eyes at it. Maybe if you're wearing contacts and eyeglasses, you're going to say, yeah, right. I did the same thing. I was skeptical of it. I was like, it can't be that good. But I went to True Vision. I visited with the nicest, most friendly staff there that put me through the paces, got me to the right answer and the right option for my vision correction, and then got me to Dr. Chu, who did an unbelievable job with the surgery itself. It does make your life so much easier, not having to go in every year, every 2 years for new glasses and new contacts, spending hundreds of dollars, getting the eye exam, trying to find what's the fashionable frames nowadays. All of those things. It's a headache. And I do not have that anymore because I got LASIK at True Vision. It took me not even half of a day to recover from the surgery. And by the time I woke up the next morning, I was seeing clearly and crisply, and everything was great. So go into True Vision or go to truevision.com to set up your consultation and tell them the John Krasinski Show sent you.
So it's weird, LaVelle. It's like I go to the ballpark and people seem to be enjoying themselves. They think it's a great ballpark. They love the experience. They love being out on a Minnesota summer night. Online, in conversation, sports writing, people in our business, it's like all you ever hear is just complaints. And the true median fan mentality is probably somewhere in the middle. But where do you think it is? And how can Twins fans actually enjoy the baseball season instead of just complaining about every single pitch?
Well, I think it's tough, Jim, because I think apathy started to set in after this season. I don't know, going into the season when the Twins are coming off such a good 2023 and did not just announce that they were holding payroll flat. I know they're not the only team that did that, that used that approach for spending in 2024. But after winning a playoff series, they would have been better served to add. And that just turned off a lot of people. And so the hopelessness that it's not going to get better anytime soon has crept in. And that's something that the organization is going to have to deal with. Plus the fact that the team is for sale, that may force fans to sit back even more. Well, I'm going to wait till the new owners come in, and then I'm going to see what they do. And then I'm going to start going to games. I'm going to start driving in from Roseau or up from Winona or up from Albert Lee to check out games. And the Twins are going to deal with that. They got to find a way to bring people in and get Twins territory involved a little bit more than you did a year ago. They don't have anything. They can't live in the past because the Twins have not made a long playoff run in a long time. The present doesn't look good. They can't look toward the future, though. And, new, young, exciting players do draw interest and get people dreaming about what they're going to look like 2 or 3 years down the road and what the team can look like 2 or 3 years down the road. So the continued development of Royce Lewis, the arrival of Brooks Lee, the expected arrivals of Emmanuel Rodriguez and Walker Jenkins The fact that David Festa and Zebby Matthews got some experience this year, and they got a couple other starters like Marco Rea and Andrew Morris, who are probably going to debut during the season as well. New exciting players can draw interest, and Twins fans can be encouraged by the fact that it's a good farm system, and you're going to see more guys come up this year. They're going to join the guys who broke in last year and start forming this another young core of players that, could make this team exciting to watch in a couple of years, maybe sooner than later, because once you get to the majors, anything is possible. So screw the past, ignore the present, but embrace the future.
They'll be making up T-shirts and selling them for $9.99.
No kidding.
And I want to be clear, too. I'm not saying fans should embrace or enjoy mediocrity. I'm not saying they should have enjoyed the team absolutely choking and blowing a very high chance to be in the playoffs last year. I'm not saying whitewash any of the bad stuff that happens. I'm just talking about it's a game where there are going to be losing streaks. There are going to be slumps. And I feel like the Minnesota reaction to every bad turn ends up robbing people of the ability to just enjoy, to quote Mike Tice, to enjoy the season. I'm not saying you should enjoy the season when they're playing like dogs, as they did at the end of last year. I'm just saying I feel like the pessimism is so close to the surface that almost anything can bring it out.
Yeah, and there's still, when I first started covering the Twins, they were playing in the Metrodome. I was driving to the Dome on a glorious afternoon, getting ready for a game in a bubble during one of the great summers that Minnesota annually has. And now you can at least sit out in the ballpark, enjoy the weather, enjoy a good a good stadium, and hope that the Twins can win. Or you may be interested in what the opposing team has. If I don't know if the Dodgers, I don't know if the Twins are playing. I don't know if Dodgers are coming here. If Shohei Ohtani ever plays here, that's going to be massive. So I think there's reasons for people to want to check out a game or two, even if you're not happy about how the on-field product is going. But the Twins are going to be tasked with trying to tap into that group of fans who just love baseball. The purists, the purists aren't going to go anywhere. The disgruntled ones may stay away, but the purists are the ones that are trying to get here. And you and I have traveled throughout the league. There's a couple of ballparks I haven't been to yet. To me, the Target Field is one of the top 5 attractions in baseball. It's so aesthetically pleasing. It's got great views, great game day presentation. You're definitely going to be entertained when you go. And that could be a draw for fans too, if the baseball product on the field is not that great.
Yeah, no doubt. And as I said, when you walk around Target Field, which I do frequently, people are having a good time. I think the Twins have the largest gap between actual fan experience and online fan experience in the Twin Cities.
It's so dangerous to deal with online and social media, but it has such an influence, good and bad, on our society. And there are people who are just trolls and would just want to be negative. And people probably aren't Twins fans, just saying negative things about the Twins just to influence other people. So it's tough because you get more negativity online than you do positivity. And sometimes that's why you have to kind of take things that you see on X as a grain of salt, or come over to Blue Sky, which is a safer haven right now.
Yes, LaVelle and I are both on Blue Sky. Come on over, follow us. You'll see our posting our shows there, our columns, everything else. It's a much better place to spend your time than the mess formerly known as Twitter. Hey, for today, we do a Booze and Blues segment at the end of every show. Last week we talked a lot about Skunk Baxter, Steely Dan, and one of LaVelle's favorite bourbons. When we were talking about that last week, LaVelle mentioned one of his favorite drinks, smoked old fashioned. So my Booze and Blues contribution for today is I want to recommend going to one of the joints owned and run by one of Minnesota's most famous chefs, David Fema. He's a great guy. He takes care of the Timberwolves. Does a lot of great stuff in the community, very charitable. He has Fema's downtown on 7th, right near the Marriott. One of the coolest places you will ever go. Incredible Art Deco stuff that he resurrected it's a long story, so I won't get into it, but basically resurrected all the Art Deco stuff from an older former business. put it back up. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. Great place to stop before or after a game. My wife and I usually go there before or after games when we're out, when I'm not working. FEMA's and his new place, Maison Margaux in the North Loop, best smoked old fashions I've ever had. Highly recommend. And if you see David, tell him we sent you.
Interesting that you mentioned Maison Margaux, because I know for a fact that when the Bears were in town on Monday for the Monday night game, Kevin Warren and some other Chicago executives met some of his friends from his old Viking friends at Maison for a nice dinner. So and I heard it was a group of about 25, 30 people. So that place is getting a lot of run. And yes, I've heard about their smoked old fashions as well. My favorite smoked old fashioned is at I can't remember the name of there's a steakhouse that I won a bet and had steak at it 2 months ago, and I can't remember.
Murray's, Manny's,
No,
Katie Hoyt's.
but hold on, it's coming.
Well, you think about it. I will just say, just to be fair, because I love David FEMA. Also gotten to know Gavin Kasem, who, of Spoon and Stable, international fame, Mara, Demi, and they're both just such big sports guys. I know. Gavin Kasem does a lot of stuff with the Wild. David does stuff with the Lynx and the Timberwolves. I just highly recommend their restaurant experiences. It's not a cheap date, but for the special occasion or when you really want to show off to somebody, take them out to one of their joints. You will be treated very well.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a great experience there. I cannot remember. Baltimore. Yeah, there it is. Baltimore. Which is a fantastic place and great smoked old fashions. And yeah, it's not cheap. They actually serve Pappy Van Winkle there. And as a condition of me winning the bet, the loser of the bet actually had to buy me some Pappy that night as well. So great steaks, great porterhouse, every cut, and fantastic drinks to go along with that experience as well. Also like Pittsburgh Blue, which is in Edina. That's not a bad spot either. And of course, there's Manny's downtown Minneapolis, where you can get a 32-ounce steak there. It's very expensive, but very exciting and great bourbon.
Well, if we're going to keep going down this road, I'll also recommend a couple more. I feel like I need to be fair to all the people. Murray's. Forget the association with Sid Hartman. Murray's is the classic old school steakhouse in Minneapolis. You walk in there, it might be like 1952, and in a good way. Just great food, great service. I love that place as well. Love JD Hoyt's. Great place to talk sports and eat, everything from steaks to Cajun. What I'm getting to here is we are blessed in Minnesota. The food scene here when I moved here was really mediocre. Now it's as good as anywhere.
And Tim Murray, who runs Murray's, is a big sports fan.
Yes, he is.
So you're liable to have a great conversation about the state of the Twin Cities sports scene if you step in. They have one of the wonderful steak sandwiches over there, butter knife steak. And I also know Pat Monty, who owns JD Hoyt's.
Yep, Pat's great.
The pork wings are outstanding. Pat is a cigar smoker, so I run into him at a cigar shop downtown Minneapolis from time to time. So, yeah, you're right, though. We got a lot of good options, and more are coming. If you read the Star Tribune, there's new restaurants opening every week. It's amazing how people want to try to get some skin in the game here.
No doubt. And one more I'll throw out there, Billy Sushi. It's right down the street from me. Really cool place with great sushi and great Japanese whiskeys. So, again, we're pretty lucky here in Minnesota when it comes to food options. All right, LaVelle, I think we've already kind of covered the important stuff, whiskey and smoked whiskey and food. Any final thought to send us into the new year?
I can't wait to see what 2025 brings, because if you remember, the 2024 baseball season was coming off of a playoffs in which two wildcard teams faced each other in the World Series, the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. And then as soon as that happened, the big boys started spending. The Dodgers spent over $1 billion. They signed Shohei Ohtani, $700 million deal with deferred money, which has gotten baseball into trouble in the past when teams started handing out deferred contracts. But it led to a World Series in which 3 of the 4 highest spenders made the AL and NL championship series. It ended up being an exciting year with the Dodgers winning it all. And now the Yankees are doling out money and making moves and trade for Cody Bellinger. I think the 2025 season is going to start out with a bang just because of some of these major acquisitions, some of these trades and people moving, the rise of teams like the Royals, the strengthening of the NL Central. If you're a local baseball fan, there's a lot of things to look forward to in the 2025 season.
No doubt. Thanks for your work this week, this year, LaVelle, excuse me. Next, a couple of weeks, we'll start up the 2025 version of this show as well. We'll do the same for all the shows at TalkNorth.com. It's been a blast to build TalkNorth.com. We have some more big plans in the near future. Keep an eye on us, and thanks for listening.